welcome to the podcast, and this one is with Manju Malhi. And Manju is a chef. She's released cookbooks for years. I've actually got one of her cookbooks from when I was on the radio, and she gave me a signed copy. And I genuinely, and I wouldn't do this otherwise, I genuinely use her cookbook regularly, particularly when I'm making something that I've never made before. When I first did a dal, I used her version of a dal, and yeah, I might adapt it into my own sort of way, kind of take a little bit from how my mum does it to how like my missus does it to how my mother-in-law does it, and add a bit of Manju in there as well. That's mums, missus, mother-in-laws, and Manjus. It's all M's. Anyway, and it makes you go at the end when you eat it. Well, maybe not, but you go it depends if who's making it. But I love cooking, as you know that. You know, I love food. I can talk about food all day long. And we have a great chat with Manju. You're about to hear this now about her new book, which is Seasonal Foodie, which is out and available on Amazon if you want to go grab it there. But what I like about her dishes are they're not out of your league achievable. So if you don't really cook on a regular, you can do this. But if you are someone who knows how to make all your staple chickens and your dals and your sabjis and all that, then you might get a little twist on things that you've never experienced before. But she's even got some real kind of introductory dishes here, which I think is wicked for people cooking for the first time. Just how to make a wicked toasty, how to do a baked potato. So, you know, there's some real simple things in there that she's still giving to the people that are starting out. So don't be afraid of cooking. If you love food like me, then you'll love us talking about food. Here she is. It's the brilliant Manju on the Tommy Sandhu podcast. How are you, Manju? You all right?
Yeah, hello.
You know what? It's so weird because the fakeness of this world that we're in, Manju.
I know.
No, meaning I had a yellow hoodie on because I just did a podcast. And I just took it off because I thought, well, I don't want people to say, oh, he's wearing the thing 2 days in a row. But the podcasts are going to go out in separate days, but it's recorded on the same day. So I just recorded Imran Yusuf in my yellow hoodie, which I took off. Had I had it on right now, we would have looked like a pair of minions. Just
I know.
a couple of brown minions. But you look radiant and lovely. And look at, you've got such a chef's background. It's also clinical and white and crisp. And look at it's pristine.
Good.
Are you super tidy? All chefs are like super. You have to be.
Yeah, well, I have to be, and the book's yellow as well.
Oh, see, and it was all yellow, which is the Coldplay song. In case you want to. So let's just start with the book because you've flashed it up there. You flashed your book at me like that. Hopefully that's the only flashing you're going to do today. It's not that kind of podcast, Manju. I love it. Oh, forget it. I'm out. The Seasonal Foodie. That's the book. What?
The Seasonal Foodie. Well, I don't know if you can see a bit of bling here.
Oh, hello. What's that? What is that? Is that something like? It looks like an army thing. I said no flashing. And the first thing
I'm so honoured because it's a Queen's honour. It's a Queen's award, which I won. Well, it's not I won. I was awarded. For food services during the pandemic, because before then, for the past few years, I've been teaching the elderly how to cook, as well as diverse communities in Heston, near Heathrow Airport, West London. So all these people were stuck during the pandemic. So for the elderly, I was doing conference call cooking sessions. It was a bit like.
But hold a minute. You don't teach elderly how to cook. Who's this chokri? Who does she think she is?
They were teaching me. Sorry,
No, but
they were teaching me how to cook.
What do you mean? What do you mean teaching the elderly? Like elderly can't cook?
It was really engaging with communities through food.
Right.
So food is a great leveler, as you know, Tommy. So people from all walks of life would all come together, have a bit of a natter and a gossip, pick herbs, spices, and do a bit of cooking, eat and go.
Right.
And that's their session. So I wasn't really teaching them.
Okay, but more facilitating the cooking process and kind of, and also, like you say, getting them back into it. And when you get a bit more hands-on like that, that makes it a lot more fun. And it's probably the kind of cooking that they probably don't do, or if they don't do anymore.
Possibly. Yes, yeah. A lot of people eat convenience meals for whatever reason. Some, their hands are sort of weak. They've got arthritis. So they want sort of simple jobs. So they'll just eat convenience meals. So it's just encouraging encouraging them to try herbs, spices in their salads, for example. Eat more greens, really.
Yeah.
And enjoy food.
Okay.
And take it easy. Yeah.
Because you said you're doing that during lockdown. So obviously, okay, we'll come back to the fact that you got that award in a minute. But I found during lockdown exactly that, because takeaways were shut, restaurants were shut. You're making more at home. And as you know, I love cooking, and your other cookbook is there on my shelf, and it's a go-to book for me. And it has been. I've put it on my story a couple of times, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to try your style of this and your style of that. And it's very accessible, and I love all that. But we'll come into books in a minute. But during lockdown, I realized, whatever you want, you can pretty much make it yourself. So let's say I miss kebabs. I would then kind of marinate chicken thighs, cook them in a foil, so they kind of go a bit softer, and then chop them up with a big knife, and then put it in a pita, yogurt, chili sauce, salad, and have my own kind of style of shawarma. So I did that. Then, after lockdown, when you go back to kebab shops, Chinese places, whatever, honestly, I feel like I've been drugged. I felt like there's something like, you feel like, what is that feeling? Like, honestly, like chemically, like processing.
You were OD'd? You felt like you were overdosing on something.
Like just something bad was in my body. And it was almost a little bit of a kind of panic. I was like, man, so I had a real backlash from takeaways and like that. But that's why you doing what you're doing during lockdown, I think lockdown would have changed a lot of people's diets. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I agree with you totally. Hopefully the people I was teaching before the lockdowns started, they had some of the skills to quickly rustle up foods, and they said they did. So they were like using a bit of olive oil with a touch of mustard, black pepper, and a drop of honey to make a little salad dressing, and drizzling it over vegetables and stuff like that. So yes, I kind of gave them the tools, and hopefully they maintained it. And I also gave them challenges. For example, I said to them, have you been having fizzy drinks every day? And they went, yeah, we've been having a lot, during lockdown, we were binge eating. I was eating loads of chocolate and stuff. So the challenges, we set ourselves challenges like say, okay, I don't want you to cut out fizzy drinks. No. Have it every alternate day and come back to me in 2 weeks and we'll check what you're up to. So it was also almost like a doctor's appointment, a food doctor. Yeah. And then, the person said, yeah, I'm all right. I'm okay. I don't miss fizzy drinks. I said, right, now do it twice a week. Yeah. So they cut it out totally. So yeah, it was really good.
Ain't it weird like that? How much just habit, simple thing like something, and it is simple. Habit is simple, but yet very hard to break. But habit is everything. So I went the other way because I'm mixed with so many people. Normally, my life is a lot going out and about and gigs and events and things like that. So you'd have a couple of drinks backstage. You might get some food late at night after a comedy night and things like that. That all stopped. And so I wasn't interested. I've given up booze now. It's been nearly 2 years. January the 10th, not a drop. And then
congratulations.
Thank you very much. But I'm also 3 stone lighter. So I'm like, I was 16 stone this time 2 years ago, and now I'm 13 stone, just under. And a lot of that is down to the booze. Everyone's like, oh God, how much are you drinking? But it's not that. It's the drinking, because I love booze with food. So I still miss it. I still miss the cocktails before a meal, or a frosted glass of white wine with a creamy pasta, or a red wine and I love my full body. I loved my Amaronis and all those kind of red wines. And gorgeous with red meat, but I've just stopped. But habit, and it wasn't the, oh man, I'm going cold turkey on the booze. It was just habit, because I love food. But then I realized I can still enjoy my food without it. It helps. It does. It adds a little something, but I'm fine without it. But here you are trying to change people's habits, and that's what I suppose a lot of cooks and chefs are always doing. You're trying to introduce people to there's another way. It doesn't have to be a packet dish.
Yes, absolutely. Like if you love packet dishes, yeah, go for them, but not every day. Chop and change, make things different and exciting and adventurous. Because I know a lot of people were baking during lockdown, which for some of us is not a good thing. because you're eating a lot of carbohydrates, and too much carbohydrates causes illnesses such as diabetes. So it's trying to do something else other than baking or healthy baking. So, for example, if you want to bake cookies, you can add oats to your cookies. Would you like one?
Oh my God. I can actually, as I'm looking at this, for anybody watching this on YouTube now, you can see it. And if you're listening to it, you can't see it. But they don't just look, just hold that there. I'm checking it out from every angle. You know what my eyes are doing right now? They're doing this because I don't know where to look. Because it's the texture of those. They look like fat and fluffy. They look like when they break. Will they break softly, or will they break with a sort of a slow?
They're slightly chewy. Yeah, they've got fresh root ginger.
Oh, nice.
And they've got rolled oats, and they also have a bit of ginger powder, less sugar, less plain flour. So
they look delicious. They look delicious. Look at you. So well, hold on. Have you just knocked those up today, or would you?
Yes, I did actually.
And
10 minutes before the session.
And so
before I interview.
Okay, just on that then. So is that a quickie thing for you? Is that like
very quick? That's very quick. I mixed up the ingredients in a bowl. I didn't need any special mixing equipment, just a spoon, and combined all the ingredients together. Made little round golf balls on my baking tray and popped them in the oven for about 12 minutes.
But they're not golf balls now. So when do they flatten out into the kind of cookie shape?
Flatten them, and then they spread. So you space them out.
Oh, okay. So
far apart.
So just to look at those cookies though, and are they're like oat biscuits, oat cakes?
They're like ginger biscuits.
Yeah.
But better for you. So it's got root ginger. It's got a bit of sugar in it, but you only need one.
Yeah, they look significant. They look significant as well. And like I say, and that's all you need. And I realize that if you just get that fix of sugar or that fix of that something naughty. So I'm on protein cookies quite a lot at the moment, just because they're dreadful. If I'm honest, they're not a cookie at all. And but they are chocolatey enough that if I have them with a cup of tea or a coffee or something like that, I'm good. I'm like, my brain goes, you've had your little sweet treat, and I can move on. And again, I've not had chocolate for a couple of months as well. So just trying to be good. But I love cooking, and I'm all about the joy of making things yourself. I tried to bake bread this morning, first time ever. I failed so hard. It didn't rise. It looked like a giant bourbon biscuit, rather than it had no rise in it. And so I put it up on my story, and all these comments come through about how I didn't let it prove, or I maybe overproved, right? But I love
what kind of bread was it? Just out of interest.
It was a wholemeal, strong wholemeal flour. I followed the recipe for it. I don't know, but I'm going to go again. I'm going to just going to keep going. But again, there are a lot of people that cooking is that thing where people are afraid, like DIY, like certain other things where you kind of feel like I'm out. Probably like mechanic. I don't do anything mechanical. I'm terrible at DIY as well. But I'll give things a go in the kitchen because I feel confident enough there, even if I've never made it before. But you must come across that as a fear factor for people. Like, oh no, I don't cook. No, not me. I don't do cooking.
Yeah.
What would you say?
Obviously, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. That's what I say. So when we were all together, someone would say, I'm Italian. I only have pasta and tomatoes and a bit of pepper. That's it, white pepper. And I go, okay. But then I'd introduce them to a bit of paprika, to a bit of turmeric, a bit of cumin powder. And they go, I really like this. So it's all about introducing the flavors gradually. Yeah. But there was the fear factor for sure.
Yeah. Well, listen, you okay. So your book, what I like about the book I've got at the moment of yours, which I got years ago, and very kindly you signed for me and all that. It's nice to have those little touches. I feel like, ooh, it's my little slice of that my connection to the chef. I show my son and my kid, my wife. Oh. Like, look, it's signed, but it's accessible dishes. It's not like, oh, holy crap, I'm so out of my depth here, but done almost like with a plus of if you just were to do it home style. So it's kind of it's up a notch, but not too many notches where it scares me away. What's Seasonal Foodie going to be like? What's this like?
The Seasonal Foodie, again, the same thing, up a notch, but not way out. But it's experimenting with different flavors. Like, for example, using capers in a dish. And you think you can get a jar of capers in the shops. and introduce a few capers and make your own tartar sauce with fish fingers.
Naive question of the day: what actually are capers? Is it like I know the little bally things or the little but what is that? Is it a seed? Is it a?
It's a bud of a flower. These little flower buds,
right,
which are then stored in brine. So it gives you that saltiness without you adding salt to anything.
Okay, so because as soon as you went capers, I went, oh, what, like anchovies? It's a fish. And I was like, hold a minute, but because it has a similar effect. But
they go well with anchovies on a pizza. They put capers on pizzas.
Right, but then aren't the two of those both quite salty, briny?
You've got to be careful.
Right. Okay.
You've got to be careful. And like if the cheese on your pizza, for example, contains salt, everything's quite salty. So you have to be really careful.
But our people, dare I throw this stereotype in? God, they love their salt. Even my father-in-law who's been told to cut down there, you'll see him. He'll go, and he'll say it, and he knows it's naughty. He'll go, pass me the salt when we've made a dish, because he wants to add a little bit to it. Yeah. But that again is a bad habit. It's an obsession that people have. I need a bit of extra lawn. Need a bit of extra,
Yeah, it's too much. That's almost saying the food you've cooked is not good enough, and I have to season it myself, maybe. So that's quite insulting to the chef or the cook.
Yeah.
And also, you know what? It causes blood pressure. So I know I have one or two Chinese people from Hong Kong who come to the classes. They're going, and I said, let me guess, blood pressure, high blood pressure. And they went, yeah. I said, soy sauce? Do you have soy sauce in practically every dish? She went, yeah. So you go for the light soy sauce, or you go for sea salt. Maybe your father-in-law might try sea salt, because you only need a little bit.
Yeah.
And again, gradually remove the salt from dishes.
And then again, like I said, with habit, like with booze, like now, if someone's been drinking, I could smell it on their breath. Like, oh my God, smells so boozy. And the same way when you haven't had salt for a while, you haven't had sugar for a while, like in a proper sweet dessert treaty kind of way. And like we went to some little Waffle House the other day, and I had that. I was like, oh my God, I can feel the sugar. I can feel it on my teeth. Like it's this film that, that wouldn't, you've not felt before. So again, habit is everything, which is why I encourage everyone to cook, give things a go. So, tell me more about seasonal. So is this seasonal foodie like Christmas time, or is it?
It can be any time. I'm not just saying that because I want people to buy the book, but it's as a result, the medal, everything. This book got published during lockdown.
Okay.
So I've got a lockdown salad in there as well. So it's fun dishes that I've been teaching people, or they've been teaching me how to create through all those sessions. So simple recipes from all sort of corners of the world, really. Like I've got a French pea soup, potage changeman.
What did you say about my mum? Oh, okay, sorry. I thought you were getting insulting there. I'm
sorry.
I thought, wow, Manju. All right.
I mispronounced that. We've got coronation turkey salad. We've got chana masala.
Nice.
So it's encouraging people to eat more protein.
Yeah.
We've got a tofu stir fry. We've got cheese and tomato toasty. So I don't want people to go really, crazy and stop everything. You do it all gradually. And this is like pick and choose your dishes and keep it simple. And I've also got how to microwave a potato. So for some people,
wow,
who don't have an oven. So it's almost like a Delia how-to, but a notch up.
But then, okay, but from with your cooking abilities and all your experience, here you are, 2021, or during lockdown now, releasing this book on how to microwave a potato. Don't you feel like, do I really have to do this? Or even like you said, cheese and tomato toasty. Why feel the need? And I'm not questioning it in that, why would you do that? It's an insult to us people consuming food. But I mean, why do you feel the need to still put those quite very basic things in? And does that kind of like lessen you? Because like, man, I could be doing more shanjama, this and the other stuff, but instead you're doing potatoes and toasties.
Because people want it, and some people say I don't know how to make it, and also to make it healthy. So I've got my inverted commas here. it's about, the good feeling aspect and not overdoing aspect as well. So, you get toasties in coffee shops. Some people cannot afford toasties from a coffee shop.
And it's a rip-off. I'm sorry. I'm gonna, the coffee shop ones as well. I'll go in there and I'll see cheese and tomato and be $3.95. $3.95. And now, because of me being the way I am now, and I love cooking and everything else, I'm like, I'd rather buy a really nice, amazing loaf of bread, go get some really nice deli cheeses, like a whole pack of them, and I could make 10 of them. Like, I'm going for a real ham and mustard toasty phase, because just something about that. I think it's comforting. It's winter. It's got the bite of it. And then if I want to jazz it up with a bit of cheese, with a bit of mayo, with a bit of onion, and then it's almost a bit, and I like that. And also, sorry, I'm jumping around. I love food so much, Manju. I love food.
It's great. And as we said, it's a leveler. It's a great leveler. Everybody loves talking about food.
But and also, what I've got into is freezing sourdough. So I bought, particularly when sourdough's going out of date in the supermarket, it's normally like £4 a loaf, and it's down to £2. I'm like, I can't help but get a deal. So I'll get that and freeze it. But freezing it's great because you can still use it absolutely fine. And so tell me about your toasty. Let's just talk toasty.
Well, it's very basic toasty, but I'm adding a teaspoon of mayo while I'm toasting it. So one side.
So you put it on a griddle pan? You griddle?
Yes.
Right. So that side's down.
We butter only the outsides.
Okay, right. So one side's buttered, then that goes, so there's a whole sandwich.
The buttered side down on the pan.
Yeah. So are you building the sandwich as you're toasting then? Are you
you kind of butter it and put a layer of mayo on the other side before you add that slice of bread. Look, we're discussing it. It's really complicated, although it's a simple dish.
No,
it's quite complicated.
But you've got to get it in the right order. Otherwise, like I said, toasties can dry out and things like that, or you can overdo it.
So you butter, one layer. Then the other layer, you put mayo. Yeah. And then you add your tomatoes, sprinkling of cheese, black pepper, and then place the mayo one side slice, the second slice on top, and on top of that has the butter.
Right. So then you'll do the flip.
So one side mayo, one side butter. That's it.
Do you press the sandwich down to get it to
with a
glue?
Spatula.
Yes. Okay. Because then I don't like to lose the fluff of the bread. Do you know what I mean? But the bounce, the sponge, the mattress of the bed. I don't. And sometimes, like my dad, when he cooks with his paratha, he gets a spatula and pushes it down. I don't like that. That makes it. They call it in Punjabi. The phrase is rarke or something like that. Where you push it down and it toasts it up, crispens up the outside. Yes. Whereas my mum doesn't do that. My mum kind of lets the pan do the thing and lets the heat transfer through. She'd rather turn the heat down a little bit. So
you can do that. Yes.
So you get a fluffier one. My mouth's just filled with water. I can't. I'm talking about. But then so what did you mean by, you said by adding the mayo as you go? What do you mean?
So each slice has one side mayo, one side butter.
Yes.
So you put your first slice, butter side down on the pan. Yeah. Let it sizzle for a bit. And then you add your cheese and your tomato and cheese. Let it cook. Let the tomato warm a bit. Let the cheese melt. Yeah. Sprinkle a bit of pepper and then slap on the second slice of bread on top with the mayo on the outside. You flip it over, that's it.
Yeah, and then flip it up.
Flip it a few times. Use a couple of fish slices, they call them.
Yeah, okay, good. And then some people I've seen would melt cheese on the outside of it as well. But does that make it a croque monsieur kind of style of thing? Is that
it does. Yeah. But you're burning the cheese and,
Yes, agree. It doesn't work. You're right.
Then bits fall. Oh, it's awful. And then you're eating charred cheese, which isn't really good for you.
And also very hard to say. Hard cheese is very easy.
Yeah. I said it. You.
Okay. So can I tell you my idea for a cookbook?
Yes.
Students. We go. You and me during Freshers Week Next year, September, end of September, we just go to student digs around the country, and we go, right, you don't have to bake a potato. You don't have to, we've spoken to your mum. She said you've never cooked. She's worried, or you spoke to your dad. Right? And then they will cook a slap up meal for the 6 people they live with. It's a little bonding thing during Freshers Week. We'll film it, we'll stick it on the telly. What do you reckon?
I love it. I love it. In fact, this book, my friend, her kid's going to uni next year, and she said he's nicked my book, my copy of the Seasonal Foodie. So yeah, it's open to everyone.
I'm telling you, if you were the kid in the student digs that kind of suddenly whips out an amazing, pasta, or even have like a really nice pasta bake, but done well, not so the bits are all chunky, or you've got bits of garlic or whatever. It's just And what about technique then? What about like how you chop things? Because my wife, my wife's the kind of person, she gets things done, but it's not done well. Right, we've had this conversation. It's the thing we argue about, where she's like, you told me I need to put music on in the kitchen. I'm like an artist, I'm like, I need to set the tone. Christmas Day, that'll be me. Music on first thing in the morning. I set and I do think music plays a big part when I'm cooking as well. What was that film? Was it not Chocolat or Amelie or whatever, where she's cooking and her love goes into the. Was it? It was.
Yes.
Right, basically, the love that she feels goes into the food. Everyone falls in love as a result of eating the food. But it's some film. And in the same way, I think if the vibe is good, then I believe, and I know it sounds hippie-ish, that you transfer your energy into the food.
Of course,
Food is intimate. It's giving somebody something. It's kind of it's I'm going to put this. Sorry, it sounds like I'm being crude all the time. I'm going to put this inside of you, but it's like.
I know.
But you know, it's a very intimate process. So I do think if the energies have got to be right for it as well. I don't know. It sounds really kind of
man. I agree with you. You can't rush things. Whatever you cook, even the cheese toasty. If you rush it, it's all floppy and sloppy and yucky. Yeah. So
and nobody wants a slidey sandwich, or even when I do my wraps as well, because I do a lot of wrap, because I try to sometimes cut back on the carbs. So exactly what you're saying, the filling, and then getting the kind of wrap done nice and neat so that you toast it nicely so it doesn't go too hard, but it closes the seal up and all that. But some people are wham bammers, and they'll say, oh, very good, Manju Malhi with her kind of lovely cookbooks, but we ain't got the time. We want to wham bam it. Is there stuff in there that the wham bammers can do?
There are loads of wham bammy type stuff, like pasta sauces. There's a pizza soup. It's all the flavors of a pizza in a soup.
Oh my word.
With no carbohydrates.
Lovely. So do you have cheese in it? Is like you get some balls in it?
Not really. No, you don't. You can make your own. If you really want carbs, you can make garlic toast, your own garlic toast with it. So it's oregano, it's the basil, all those flavors, the pepper, the tomatoes. Yeah, all the flavors of a pizza soup.
Nice. And the chef world's a crazy world right now. There's chefs popping up, blooming everywhere. Look at me, even I'm going on about it. Like I'm talking like I'm one. I mean,
we're all chefs.
But we are. But how is it out there? I mean, is it because it's been tough for a lot of people, right?
Yes, it's been tough for me as well. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I've been swanning around writing books. Yeah. I had to really pitch hard, and it's only a paperback. It's not picture per recipe, but I got a book deal, but it's so hard. I was meant to do television work. A lot of programs were decommissioned. I had to stop all my cooking classes. So it's been hard, but it's been hard for everyone, and the hospitality industry for sure. I get chefs from India asking me if there's any work here, but we don't know what's going on with the hospitality industry here now, because they're kind of saying, well, we might have to shut down again. And it's been hard. It's tough.
Genuinely very worried about that. I've hosted recently as well, in the last month, the English Curry Awards and the Scottish Curry Awards, and you speak to actual restaurant owners, who have gone through these last 2 years, and some of them have just made it through by the skin of their teeth, by remortgaging, refinancing, by borrowing. It's a statement from Boris Johnson. It's a statement in the news that says we may go to but that statement is potential career endings for many.
Absolutely.
It's very, and what does that mean? That means mortgages. That means your bills. That means your kids. That means
it's not about food anymore. It's not about the food. No.
It breaks my heart. And it's very, very scary. So what outside of the writing of the books, what are you doing? What is your thing? Food.
Well, helping the community, my community, engaging with people through food if I can. So, I won the award. I wanted to highlight my, not my charity, the charity I work for, Open Age and Heston West Big Local, because people in the Heston area, a lot of them lost their jobs during the pandemic because they worked at Heathrow Airport. Right. So a lot of these people just needed food to eat, not fancy food or any chefy type food. It was just basics. So it was encouraging people to either come to us, get little food boxes done. I know a restaurant in North London, they were making loads of food and just giving out dal, roti, sabji, that sort of thing. Yeah. It was great. And of course, the Sikh temples, the Gurudwaras were doing their bit, just giving out food. It was survival, really. So, and that's what a lot of restaurants have been doing if they can afford it, because, ingredients cost money.
Yeah. And staffing costs.
That's what I've been doing. And just helping communities, highlighting Open Age, Heston West. And
good on you.
It's all good. Hopefully, the next step is really thinking hard about all of us. And I know we're not in it, we're all in it together, but it's about thinking about other people, not just yourself. Yeah. Thinking about your neighbor, even the shopkeeper, if they've got a badge, say, hello, Julie, or, hi, Imran, or whatever. Just saying their name, asking how they are is all you need to do. You don't even have to, fork out money. Just saying hello to someone. Oh. And it's those tiny things I've learned, and I'm sure that we all have.
It actually gets me in trouble because I talk to everyone everywhere I go as much as I can. No, honestly, it's a thing that my wife has picked up on. She said, you would save 50% of your time if you didn't feel the need to chat to everyone along the way. But I'm like, I've got something to say. And I'm sure they've got something to say. And I am that guy, by the way. And I know it's a little bit cliche. I'm a name badge caller. So if I see Danny, whatever, I go, do you know what I mean? Danny. Danny knows what I'm talking about. And whatever. And they will suddenly, they do that thing when they look around. They go, how's he know? Oh, and then they go, oh yeah, I've got the name.
They forget. But don't they have a smile afterwards? Because you said their name.
That's the Sandhu effect. That's what we go for. That's the whole point, is to make people smile. And food makes people smile. Before we wrap, I want to talk about Christmas though. Christmas Day. Let me just run my plans past you, right? So I have had for the last 5 years, apart from last year, 21 people over for dinner. I do all the food. All of it, right? Amazing. My sister might bring a dauphinoise potato because she likes those, and my other sister might bring a cheese board, but then it's them and their kids. But I do 3 meats this year. I'm going to do a rib of beef. I'm going to do the turkey, of course, and a ham. So my wife likes a ham. I like the turkey. I like the turkey and the ham the next day. I want to make sure there's some good breads in. That's why I've started practicing baking, because I want to do my own bread. I want to have super lovely bread. But if not,
thank God we're not coming to yours. Yeah.
But then I do a veggie pie for the vegetarians. I've seen different ways of doing the roast potatoes. I saw this technique. I've got my olive oil in a like a what's it called, a plant spray gun with rosemary and garlic in there. So when the potatoes spritzer, that's what it's called. And then when the potatoes come out, I just spritz it with the rosemary and garlic oil, and everyone goes, oh wow, it smells so garlicky and rosemary. I'm like, yeah, and they think you've cooked that into it, but you haven't. And so it's just kind of been zhuzhed up at the end. Yeah. But give me a couple of Manju
have
moments.
Have you got any salady things? Because what happens is you get all carved up, and meated, proteined up. You want something refreshing on the side. So maybe some Christmas salad with a few cranberries thrown in, or something like that. Just a bit of greenery to just lift the food. You've got your gravy. So you're making your gravy from scratch as well?
No, see, I always shy away from that because, I don't quite get that bit. They say use the pan that the meat was cooked in, but when I look at it, it all looks a bit nasty in there at the end of it. So
A sieve? Have you got a sieve?
Yeah,
strain it if you really want to. And you know what? Add the instant gravy, a little touch of that with those juices, and then it makes it lovely, meaty. Yeah, tasty.
See, that's key, because I think what it is, I like Bisto gravy.
Of course, yeah, we're allowed to advertise, yeah.
Right, yeah, I like that type of gravy. Like, I like regular gravy. So the other stuff, which is cooked from the juices and all that, can sometimes taste a bit too, like, just a bit too hardcore, a bit too meat, a bit too, like, I don't know, like it's the, almost like it's the fat of the meat, but not the taste of it.
It's all greasy and oily. I know what you mean. Yeah.
So if you're saying, so in that pan, let's say I've taken the meat out and all those juices are in there.
I wouldn't use all the juices. I just use a little bit. Okay, and then do your Bisto business. Yeah, just a little bit, just to give it that lift. So it's not out of a packet. That is good. That's what I suggest.
See, that's what you do. It's kind of the regular, but with a little plus.
That's it. Yeah. Don't go too high. Yeah.
No, okay. But like I said, a little bit of that makes it feel like you've got natural. Okay, good.
Yeah. And they go, this is gorgeous. Yeah.
So just tell me about a cranberry salad then. What's it?
The cranberry salad. Well, I would put some, everybody loves iceberg. Sometimes it works. So it depends. Like for the starters, I don't know what you're doing. You're doing starters?
Well, because there's so much food, and I know this sounds so bindu now, but there might even just be some samosa and things like that. But I like to, because people come around quite early. They'll come around about 12, but we won't eat till about 3, 4. And then we'll feed the kids first, and then the adults will still probably be having a few drinks, and then they might eat a little after that. Yeah. So the starters.
Okay, I suggest making a dressing out of, you're going to get a jar of cranberry sauce or jelly or whatever, aren't you?
No doubt.
I'd whisk that with a touch of balsamic vinegar or ordinary vinegar. Don't add any sugar. I would add a touch of olive oil and some black pepper. Whisk it all up and then put it in a jug and pour it over any kind of salad.
Okay. So
and it's all Christmassy and yummy.
Yeah, okay. So I like rocket, onion, tomato, walnut in the salad as well. Maybe bits of feta.
Oh, lovely. That sounds gorgeous. Yeah.
Okay, done.
Awesome. And the redness of the cranberries will give the feta a nice pink tone.
Yeah. Look at that. I love the fact that you even now, with the billions of conversations you must have had about food, it still brings a smile to your face as well. So.
It does. You know what? I love smiling because I love to see people's reactions over it. And if they're happy, I'm happy. That's how I feel about it. And it's good. It's good. And the samosa is a good idea. You need a bit of spice because it can be quite boring. Not boring, but bland. Yeah. And lift it with samosa. God, it sounds delicious. But take pictures.
A couple. I will do. I'll tag you and everything. But a couple of samosa can kind of tide you over as well. If you have a samosa, you're like, if you're hungry. And you've had a bit of aloo, you had a bit of spice, you have a bit of chutney, you have the imli with it, imli chutney as well. So you've got that kind of, it's a different flavour to what you're gonna have. And then you have your drinks, whatever. And the veggie pie always goes down well because they're full veggie, so no egg. So I just get the ready roll puff pastry, which is eggless, and then it's just cream. It's mushrooms, asparagus, spinach frozen from a bag because it goes a lot further than a bag, and then. Was it mushroom, onion, leek? I think it's just it's almost like a little mega mix, and I make it the night before. That's the other thing I've learned.
And you've made this before, have you? Have you made this pie before?
Like about 20 times. That's
fine. Because another tip is don't make something brand new, even one day before to test it out. Yeah. Because that'll freak you out. Because if it turns out rubbish, and it may turn out rubbish, then you're snookered, aren't you? So you need to.
Does any of your stuff still turn out rubbish? Just reassure me that can you go, like my bread today was like awful. Is there any, oh no, I've got that.
No. I'm trying to think. It's all about timing. Okay. Prepping, timing, planning. Those are the key things.
Oh God.
Prep and plan.
But again, I'm not a prepper, planner, timer. I'm a hey, how do I feel kind of guy.
Well,
and that's only good so far. But I think that's what's let me down on the bread because bread is a little bit more precision based. But flavors, like even now, my chicken curries that I make for the boys, or when I make keema, when I make lamb or whatever, it's kind of just by the eye now. So I know, this much garlic, this much ginger, this much this, and I like that. But whole spices, letting them kind of do their thing in the oil and the cumin beforehand, then I take them out, then I put my onions into that flavored oil. So but you pick all those things up with time. I think I like the fact that people should just give things a go.
Hang on, yeah.
Oh, you muted, didn't you, by accident? I said you pick these things up with time, but I really do think, and I'm not just saying it because it's you, any cookbook, and particularly an accessible cookbook like yours, where you, like I say, you can get a good toasty. You know, like if you're a student, if you're a bloke and I'm going to stereotype and go, you're a bloke and you're at home, you've got your blokes coming over, you're like, right, what shall I rustle up? I want to make something rather than just get something in. And you know, every fella, I swear fellas are changing now as well. Our natures are, and all of my closest boys, I'm talking about cousins to mates, everything.
Yeah.
They all either do cook, know how to cook, and can handle themselves in the kitchen and love it as well. Because I think it's almost become quite alpha as well now to cook and cook well. Don't you think? It's
like the barbecue thing.
Yeah, but it's moved inside and it's moved to kind of like, you know, we've got, like, you know, my wife's cousins, my kind of brother-in-laws, it were, they've all got their own sourdough thing going on. What's that little, and people are giving that as gifts. Have you heard that? You know, this thing.
No.
Oh, it's a gift. What's it called? It's called the sourdough proof, isn't it? Whatever.
Yes, the proofing. Yeah,
the proofing. People are giving their sourdough proofing as a gift to kind of go, right, there you go. You can now have your own sourdough, but build it off of mine to save. Because that's like
if you enjoy baking, that's fine. Giving that as a gift. But the chances are it'll be in the back of the cupboard.
Yeah, and going proofing some more, going out of proof. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So, it depends. If you're into bread making, go for it. But I don't, because I'm giving out lip salves and hand cream, really. So,
is that your thing? Food-wise, what's your thing? Yeah. What do you love? What's your?
Lately, I've cut back on dairy.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to make. I tested out this recipe: a chicken biryani with no dairy.
Okay. So
because normally you marinate the chicken in yogurt.
Yeah.
And you sometimes use cream or milk with the saffron strands soaking in there and there's no butter. So it's with olive oil. So it's olive oil and coconut milk.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. How do you get that kind of, you know, that
creaminess,
succulent-y bit of the chicken? Yeah.
And people have loved it, and they didn't realize there was no yogurt or butter in it. It was delicious. So that is my key. So chicken biryani is what I'm making for my group of open agers next week.
And it doesn't turn too sort of Thai, does it? Because I think whenever you put coconut milk, it goes a bit the other way for Asian.
No, it doesn't. It didn't, because it had a lot of warming spices, which are Northern Indian biryani, sort of Islamic Mughal flavors.
Big clovey kind of big.
So it's not loads, not like a whole tin of coconut cream, just a touch to slosh it out a bit.
Yeah.
So what happens is when you do your layering of the rice and the meat, it sort of seeps through the juices of the sauce.
Love it.
Through the rice, so you get a lovely moist biryani.
Nice. I'm in. Oh, Manju, listen, we need to do this together. Hopefully, if the world heals a little bit, I'd love to have you over and just kind of just cook. We'll take a camera on. I want to go around to university students. I'd love to do it next year, even if we just do it for ourselves for a bit of fun. We'll pick some students.
Sure, for sure, absolutely. They need a cheering up. Yeah,
exactly. And you know what? They might not be doing anything else during Freshers Week because they might all be in lockdown again. So, well, at least we can do is feed them. Get them something spicy to enjoy.
Something nourishing. Yeah.
Great talking to you as always. Good luck with everything. Seasonal Foodie paperback out right now.
Seasonal Foodie out now. Yeah.
Top stuff. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you so much. I heard, genuinely, this is just as a fact. I heard that if you hit subscribe to this podcast now, if you have subscribed on Apple or on Spotify or on JioSaavn or wherever you are listening right now, if you are subscribing and getting that on a regular, which means you get the little notification when the new episode comes out. Fact. This is a fact. Don't tell no one else's. If you hit subscribe, you can eat as many jalebis as you want and you will never put on weight. I know. I don't understand the logic. It makes no sense to me. I mean, how's a podcast relate to the DNA way in which your body breaks down jalebi sugar stuff running through your... I don't understand, but what I do know, it's a little cheat to life. So if you like jalebis, then you should hit subscribe
to this podcast. Oh, and follow us on social media too. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Follow us. Eat jalebis. Be happy.